Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat rated on Prime FM 105.5. This program is also being streamed live on our Nighttime Heat Facebook page and, of course, our Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. Just type Nighttime Heat, and, of course, you're going to watch the show online either on your Facebook or on your YouTube. Well, tonight promises to be very, very interesting. We have a lot of interesting discussions. I'm sure wherever you are, either listening by radio or watching online, just to make sure to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow on what's happening tonight on the program. Want you to share the show because it promises to be very, very interesting. I'm still waiting. I'm a panelist. I got one already in the studio. David Benedictus Rasmus Nangwitabe. I know Moses Sani was soon locked in. Likewise, George Kennedy and Edwin Family. I'm sure they'll soon be walking in. But let me just acquaint you with what is coming up tonight. I'm sure you're quite aware that the fifth legislature. That's the legislature. Well, begins its second session today, and I'm sure you've been following. First, we understand that when the hosting the flag, and of course after which. I understand that they went to the Providence Baptist Church, where they held that's the 55th legislature. They went to the Providence Baptist Church where they held service. I'm going to bring that to you. We got a video clip, in fact, to show you when we were at a church, And later on, I'm sure the speaker was able to give his opening statements to his colleagues. We're going to talk about that. And of course, the House of Representatives today resumed amid the rumors or speculations about 48 of the lawmakers affixing that signature to what they call resolution. Well, we're going to look into that as well. And of course, I'm sure you're quite aware that the police today provided updates on three major cases. We're going to bring that video for you as well, where the police RG, the Inspector General, when it was providing the updates, and of course, one of the cases involved they have proof for one, Brian McGill, from Deputy Minister of Even Sports. What did the police say? Well, we're going to do our own analysis. They much talked about DNA test that the police has been talking about. They made reference to that today. And did it clear Bryant or it didn't clear him? We're going to talk about that because the IG said the case is still open. And of course, they are in search of the duo. So it means maybe Bryant is that duo. But I'm panelist now. We're going to look at that today. And of course, the debate about the controversial Port Autonomous Bill still lingers. We hope to speak with Abdullah Mamwe on the line. And in a moment, he will be joining us. So we hope to speak with him regarding his on expert opinion on this whole Port Autonomous Bill. Well, the former president, spoke at his church yesterday. I'm making reference to George Madawia. What was his message? I didn't, we'll try to look at his message. What was he saying? Because at one point he said some unity party, folks were always requesting arms or requesting help from him. Well, we're going to look at that. What was he saying? We'll talk about that, tonight. But you're listening to the Nighttime Heat, and of course, we want to share the show. Just share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on this show. Let me welcome my panelists now, my team of panelists. David, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sabbath. Thank you, Sabbath, and good evening to our listeners and followers on the social media.
Okay, let me welcome Edwin Fumble. Edwin, welcome.
Thank you, Slava. I want to say good evening to our listeners and to Brother Moses if he's online. So glad again to be here tonight to start a new week. Thank you.
Okay. Let me welcome you also, Josh Kennedy.
Yes, good evening, Sawa. Good evening, everyone in Radio Land and those following us by ways of online. I want to say thank you. We're here again tonight. I don't know if Moses is on. Mr. Sandy, if you are there. Anyway, good evening. Thank you.
Okay. Many thanks. I'm sure Sandy has him come on here. As soon as he comes on, we'll get the signal that Sandy is about to come on. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat rated on Pram FM 105.5. First, gentlemen, let me hear from each of you just maybe for a minute or a few seconds as to what is it that's trending. Dave, what been on your mind before coming up here?
What's on my mind, Sabbath? I like to be very, very, candid here. And I wouldn't mind what the lashes would be. But I have a problem with, as a country and people, we too accommodating. Accommodating in a sense that foreigners and aliens use that flexibility or our accommodating spirit as a people, the nation, to take advantage of us. For example, whenever our government is having a public function, they say that Muslims should pray and a Christian should pray. And I'm just wondering, sometimes I wonder, in which Muslim or dominant Muslim countries do they allow Christians to pray at public functions?
Like, where's the secularist?
You need to forget about that.
Please.
Forget about
No,
that.
I'm not.
Forget about that.
No,
That's
you
his
have
point.
Give it
Yeah.
a chance.
Yeah.
In which dominant Muslim country do they ask Christians to pray and Muslims to pray at a particular occasion? The last time I had a conversation with a colleague in Morocco, he said there were sometimes as Christians we had to have a service, to have a worship service. Because the people, they don't respect Christians. And then I guess that's what prompted the recent action of President Donald Trump of the United States when he took that action in Nigeria. Because Christians are so accommodating that others take advantage of us.
Okay. All right. I'm
And
sure.
I think that, look, we can't be so overly accommodating until we allow other people to take advantage of us as a Christian nation and Christian people.
Okay, Dave, you spoke your mind. Ed.
Okay, so what I would do, I would just what's basically on my mind is basically like I want to be frank to our legislators to start looking at most of our laws. Our laws are archaic. Take for example the criminal procedure law, the civil procedure law. Those laws were made in 1970, 1972. In fact, those laws are even older than even the Liberian Constitution. So that's why we're having some of these challenges also, because we're in the 21st century. Most of those things that were considered crimes also today they could be, looked at differently.
Okay.
We never had cyber crimes. We never had this issue of DNA. So as we progress, we need to start looking at our laws and start to review them.
Okay.
Not saying basically the Constitution, but all of these are statutes that were created by out of the legislator. I think we can look at it and start working on it. To David's point, I think I would just piggyback on there a bit.
Somebody, should we allow
Hello?
people to react to what's on our mind, man?
Yes, no, but no.
Is that necessary?
No,
I think
necessary.
you can react if
I think-
there's enough.
I think it's good because we're supposed to be enlightening the society. We're supposed to be educating our people. So when we sit on the radio, we need to be careful because the last time I checked, Liberia is a secular state.
Okay.
Liberia was never, classified as a Christian nation or a Muslim nation.
Since 1986, right?
It's a secular state.
Since 1986.
So most of the countries
Not
that you're
since
talking about,
1847. Since 1986.
Most
not
of the
since
countries are coming out.
1847.
most of the countries that you mentioned, Morocco, those are Islamic state. Morocco and some of these other countries. If you go to most of these countries, even Ghana, Nigeria, they carry on the same functions. In fact, in Ghana, Ramadan is a holiday. It's a national holiday. So,
Okay.
so it's meant for the coexisting.
Okay, you made your point. Let's hear from you, George.
I'm not interested in engaging in religious debate because it's a completely different debate that requires a lot of research and other things, and some people don't have this skin. But actually, I want to say that I saw on Facebook today, Brian McGill, the Deputy Minister of Sport.
No, we have it already.
Oh,
it's part of our
okay.
discussion.
Okay. So another thing is I'm seeing massive road works in the Matadi area. I see.
That's PR on there. That's public relations.
Please let the man talk.
What's on your mind?
You can react to the man's.
What's on your mind?
That's the man's position.
Yeah,
tonight.
this is public relations.
That's what's on the man's mind. Yeah, if he
You're
wants to
talking
come
about the
to
country dumping Islamic people. That's war. I'm talking about development taking place in the country. You say that foreign relations. So I who love the country now. You want to ferment war in the country. I'm saying no. I want to talk about
I didn't know what's a ferment war.
Let's say Islamic people should be silent.
No. The man is saying
No.
You should be accommodating.
You should not be accommodating. That means silent. If you don't accommodate, you silent. That's the opposite of accommodating is not to accommodate, which means silent. The NAS will be having Islamic prayer.
So why are Christians silent in other countries?
Oh, I can't speak to that. I speak to my setting.
Anyway, that's what
My setting in Matadi and other places, I see massive road works.
okay.
So I want to say that these are things that we should be talking about.
Okay. Thank you, Georgie. Thank you. Let me try to welcome Moses and hear from him what he has on his mind before we can go into. Very shortly, we'll be speaking with the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. They resumed today. So we'll speak with Robert Haynes in a moment from now. George, not George, but Moses, welcome to the program and what's been on your mind before coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Tagbed, George, it's a pleasure to be with you guys. Mr. Family, if you are there, I also want to say hi off to you, our technical crew, and the people of Monrovia. I want to say it is good to be back. Some of two things already stands out for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it is good that we coincidentally, I bumped into this thing here. You're talking about a spokesman from the House of Representatives who will be talking to that person. But let me clear two things that really stands out. First, I want to
in a minute.
Quickly. First, I want to speak about law enforcement in Liberia. You saw this photo that is circulating social media. The guy from NSC, the man who is charged for sodomizing.
Well, I think
Moses, we have that already as part of our talking points.
Okay, but quickly, I just want to. Somebody accused of such a heinous crime. Okay, quickly, let me speak to this. Today, I listened to the speaker, Speaker Coom, and in his opening statement.
Let's take Moses. Let's take the. Let's
that's what I'm saying. You said what is on my mind, right?
Yeah, no, but all those I want to talk about, they are part of our discussion point. So let's take the interview with the House spokesperson, and then we can do our own analysis regarding that before going to
Yeah,
our
but
second.
I want to just speak quickly about what is on my mind regarding what the speaker said
Okay.
today.
All
I
right,
just
let's go
want
ahead.
to, Saba, I want to speak to the deceit, hypocrisy, the double standard of Speaker Goon. This guy connived with his sister. He publicly admitted that. He connived with his sister to defraud the U.S. immigration system. And I heard him telling his fellow lawmakers to uphold the Constitution of Liberia, the rule of law in Liberia. This man ascended to the leadership of Liberia through an unusual, a violation of the Constitution of Liberia. It just tells you how, hypocritical Richard Coon is.
Okay.
So I will keep it until we start. Thank you.
Many thanks. Many thanks. We're trying to connect with the spokesperson of the House of Representatives to just bring us up to speed as to what is it that we do expect from that August body as they resume today. I'm trying to establish contact, but please kindly share the show. We want you to share the show. Just tap on your phone, your Facebook page, Nighttime Heat, and of course you followed and then you share the show as well. You can also watch the show online by using your YouTube. Again, just tap Nighttime Heat. And of course, you subscribe, you hit the notification bell. And of course, anytime the show comes on, you are right there to watch the show. We're trying to connect with the spokesman of the House of Representatives, Robert Haynes. He's quite aware of our call to him. We expect that he should be in readiness by now to take our calls. We're still trying to place the calls, and he's now picking. Anybody listening, can tell Robert Haynes that the Nighttime Heat trying to connect with him. Let him try to put his phone on and hear from us as well. A couple of questions we do have, and of course we want him to address it since he being the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. So we're trying to connect with Robert Haynes. But in the meantime, gentlemen, we will be speaking also. We'll be speaking with an expert who's basically also involved with this whole port autonomous bill. As soon as earlier he called, but we thought that we could speak with the House spokesperson first, before we can go into that. But it seems Robert Haynes is not picking. We don't know what's happening. I want to speak with him regarding the resumption of duties today by the legislature. He's the spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Robert Haynes, who hoping that we can get him quickly to speak with us on the line. Okay, Robert should be on the line by now. Robert, welcome to the Nighttime Heat.
Thank you so much, Sabot. Great job you continue to do for our country. Prosperity judge all of us. And I have to commend you for the great work you continue to do for our country. Too many good times happening, too many good things you do for our country. We appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, Robert. Sabot alone may not ask the questions tonight. We have a team of panelists. David Tagbert is part of the team. George Kennedy also is part of the team. You may likely ask questions. Edwin Formula is also part of the team. Moses Sandy, one of our panelists in diaspora, may also ask a question. But let me begin with you, Mr. Haynes. First, tell us, what were the activities today?
Well, consistent with the Constitution, the 1986 Constitution of Liberia, that states Article 32A that says the legislature shall be assembled once a year on the second working Monday. So we had to resume today to do the work of the Liberian people. A great program being held today. We had the official ceremony, the hosting of the flags, the 15 contest flag, both on the end of the Senate and that of the House. And then the grand parade and eventually we have to go to our chambers, and afterwards to the Prophet Baptist Church for the House of Representatives, and the intercessory service were being held. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Right Honorable Richard Nagbekom, gave an official statement which encompasses setting the agenda for the third section.
Now, what was the significance of going to the Providence Baptist Church?
The significance of going to the Providence Baptist Church is, as a matter of fact, if we were to flip the pages of history, the Providence Baptist Church have a deep history in Liberia. There where this country called Liberia, there where the Declaration of Independence was being signed. And so the leadership of the House of Representatives thought that, okay, let's go back to the foundational values of our country, where we had the independence being signed, and we go there to have this reflection. And because the House is coming back in a way of reinvigoration.
Okay.
Reinvigorated to work in the interest of the country in terms of passing key legislations, important legislations to benefit the masses of our people.
Okay. Now, before my other colleagues come in, let me ask this question quickly. Were all of the lawmakers, all of your members, were they in attendance?
All of the lawmakers were not in attendance. Too many things happened. But of course, there were roll call being done today. We have 54 members. We have 73 members in the House of Representatives, but 54 were in attendance by the roll call. And later on, other people joined. But I mean, as per the roll call was being done, there were 54 members present in section. And because, of course, yes, there's to be a quorum before deliberation can go on. And then the chief clerk, after the roll call being done, allowing that we have a quorum, in fact, when see the quorum, and then the chief clerk had to read the agenda, and then it reached to the aspect that had to do with, there was a long agenda item, which was the official opening that the Speaker of the House of Representatives needed to give his legislative official statement, which encompasses the legislative agenda.
Okay.
This new calendar year, which is the third section.
Yeah.
Okay. So David wants to come in.
Yeah. So I'd like to ask you, Mr. Hintz. My name is David. Is there any reason why those other lawmakers did not show up? That's my first question. The other question is, there's this thing about it. We hearing reports about a conspiracy or a plot to unseat Speaker, to unseat Speaker Richard Nagbekom. In fact, what we hear and do unconfirmed, that in fact many of the lawmakers have signed a document. To ensure that the Speaker Richard Nagbekom leaves the seat of the Speaker. What do you know about this issue about some lawmakers signing to unseat the Speaker?
Well, thank you, brother. Is it David Tagbe?
Yeah, David Tagbe. Yeah, David Tagbe from Radio Veritas, formerly.
Okay, thank you, brother Tagbe. It's a great question, and I appreciate you for that. Let me say this to you: the legislature is not a church house. The legislature, people would disagree to agree.
Okay.
Liberia matters, and that's the reason why we applaud the citizens of our country. Let them or hate them. They will elect their lawmakers. They will elect their president. They will elect the vice president, and they have to work in the interest of the country. But everybody's not going to be saying yes, sir. Everybody's not going to say no, no, no. But people will disagree. The legislature is the biggest theater of politics in Liberia. There are issues people will disagree. But I'll tell you that with the coming back of our legislators back up Capitol Hill, they are reinvigorated to work in the interest of the country.
And Mr. Hintz. And so, is it true that some lawmakers have signed?
I'm not. Mind you, I'm just on the phone here. I'm not sitting in your studio. So I'm just responding to a question being asked about the tagway.
Yeah. So it's the same tag. No, it's the same. It's the same tagway that is coming in, Mr. Haynes.
Right?
It's the same. It's the same tagway that is coming in, Mr. Haynes. Is it true that some lawmakers have signed a document? Signed a document.
Two questions, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You asked 2 questions.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair enough in terms of this journalistic thing you do like this. We are know about. I needed to answer to that. Then you come in with a go because I'm not in the studio like that. I'm on the phone.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Haynes.
So I'm saying to you that the legislature of Liberia or all other in other areas, they call it parliament, but in Liberia we don't have parliament, we have legislature. There will always be disagreements because you don't elect people who will just come and sit and say yes or to say no. All right? There are issues, but the legislature is firm. Under the leadership of Speaker Richard Nagbagoon, the legislature is firm in working in the interest of the Republic of Liberia and its people. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why on today we had to go back to the founding fathers of our country, where we sat down before the foundation of our country to have, because the first place the legislators sat then was at the Prophet and Baptist Church. We went there today. That was a reflection, a reawakening as we come back for our third section, so that the lawmakers work basically in the interest of the people of Liberia and the country in totality. The question you asked about why other lawmakers did not attend. So in the legislature, how it works is that opening, there are several other issues people confronted with. But in parliamentary proceeding is to have a quorum to do the work of the people. And we surpass that. In the legislature, you might have 37, 38 members. As a matter of fact, 37 to make a quorum. We have 54 members present today after the roll call being done. That was good.
Okay. No, I have a follow-up question, Sabo. He hasn't answered the question regarding whether or not some lawmakers have signed a document to ensure that Mr. Coon.
Well, man, all of you got to ask questions. You can't be on the phone continuously with this guy.
Yeah, no, Moses, I'm sorry. He hasn't answered that part of the question. There are reports, even published in the newspaper or online, that some of the lawmakers have signed a document to effect their demand that Mr. Coon, as Speaker of the House of Representatives, resigns or be removed.
So I say this again to you, Brother Tagman. What you see on the social media is not what it is. If you were to follow, if you were to be at the Capitol building today, or if you saw some of the outlets that scream live, what I saw on the faces of the lawmakers, some of them very elegantly dressed in their suits, smiling, and that was a more like people come back from their various constituency, come back up Capitol Hill, and what you're talking about signing resolution. There's no resolution, as a matter of fact. If there's a resolution, we're going to speak to that, but I'll tell you that we have a reconciled house willing and prepared to do the work of the people of Liberia.
Okay, Mr. Haynes. Okay.
Let Mr. Sandy come in.
Yeah, Moses is coming.
Yes, thank you, George. Mr. Haynes, do you hear me?
I'm hearing you very well, Moses.
Okay, it's a pleasure connecting with you via social media. I just want to put this pointed question to you. I'm sure you listened to your speaker today. He encouraged members of the House to uphold the laws of Liberia, uphold the Constitution of Liberia. So the question I would like to ask you is, Speaker Coon, a respecter of the laws of the country? I'm asking this question because he publicly admitted to incest. He publicly admitted to conniving with his sister to defraud the U.S. immigration laws. He is also on record for manipulating the legal system of Liberia in order for him to become speaker. Is he someone who respects the laws of the country?
But Moses, as far as I know, I am the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. I am not a spokesperson of individual lawmaker. And so I will tell you and communicate to you what plenary says, what reflects the lives of the people of Liberia, basically coming from plenary, and I'm on the menu of that. Any issue with individual lawmaker that you speak of, or even the speaker that you speak of as an individual that has to do with the domestic affairs, I don't speak to that. I speak with the issue that has to do with plenary. And I stand with this to say to you that the speaker intimated clear cut. We're on the march of making sure that the legislature of Liberia, we are working in the spirit of all of the legislators to work in the interest of the country, and with the number of reforms that are being done, we're on path. And I don't speak to individual issues.
So, Mr. Hines, let me correct you. Let me correct you quickly. So, let me just correct the spokesman. Do you know that Speaker, Representative Kuhn is the Speaker of the Republic of Liberia, and the legislature is the first branch of government? As a spokesman, you speak for the first branch of government. Do you know that?
No.
Did you hear me?
Apparently, you're not treating yourself very well because.
No, that's it. So listen, I asked this question because it seems that there's a little bit of misunderstanding here. Your role as spokesman of the legislature, it means that you also speak for the Speaker of the Republic of Liberia. Don't you know that?
Of the House consists of 73 members. The House of Representatives consists of 73 members. I speak for the House, and its spokesman, if it says, I'm not an individual lawmaker, population officer.
The Speaker is not an ordinary member. He's the head of the first branch of government. You speak for him. You speak for the legislature. You speak for the House.
It was not a meeting when I used some
Not leave it like that. Not leave it like that.
Then we have to be very clear, because I felt like you told me on this morning that you wanted me to come on your show to talk about the opening of the legislature. Did I know that you wanted to have people asking about people individual domestic affairs, which I don't speak.
Okay. Hence, Mr.
So I mean, if you continue the show, in a way where
let's
inform the public adequately, we should do that with justice.
Okay. Hence, please, before you go, I know you shortly be going because we have another interview to conduct quickly. What are some of the crucial bills? Hence, do we expect the House of Representatives to pass in the soonest possible time?
There are several, not about just passing, but there are several bills that are left in committee room. There are several interactions we're looking at. That's why the speaker spoke about to have people-centered issues that affect our country. I tell you this, we have several issues. There are existing concession agreements before the House. They have to review it to see what are in the interest of the country before they have it legislated. There are other bills in terms of looking at the welfare of our people living with disabilities, which of course, yes, there was a petition that came before the House, and action will be taken by the chief executive in terms of looking at the head of the Commission on Disability, who there was reports of all the issues that are going on, and then the disabled people reported. I mean, there's several of them.
Okay.
Economic reforms, and other issues.
Okay.
Therefore, this session going to look at to see that will work and basically to work in the interest of the Liberian people. And that's what this House, under the leadership of Speaker Richard Nagbe-Kwon, committed to doing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Robert Haynes. We really appreciate your time on the nighttime heat tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Continue to do the great job you continue to do for our country. We're starting to judge all of us.
Okay. He's Robert Haynes, the spokesperson of the House of Representatives.
But I have a disagreement.
Yeah, let's hear from him.
I have a disagreement with Mr. Haynes, and I hope that you stay on the line. If you say that you speak for the entire House, not individual lawmakers, I find it difficult to understand. Maybe my candidate say he had, or he still has, some clarification or education to provide. But at first, the individual lawmakers, if they are engulfed in controversial situations, there's nothing wrong with this the spokesperson of the speaker of the legislature, speaker of the House of Representatives, specifically speaking on that. Yes, a speaker that has a problem. That has a problem. Matrimonial, was embroiled in a matrimonial crisis. So if somebody asks about the speaker, whatever concerns the speaker concerns the entire House of Representatives, because he's the head. Even if it is ceremonial head, he's the head of the House of Representatives. So if something concerns him that, in fact, casts a special on the entire legislature, there's nothing wrong with Mr. Haynes speaking on that. So it's a poor excuse.
Okay.
It's a poor excuse
that's what
to say that he can speak for individual lawmakers, he can only speak for the legislature in its entirety. That's absolutely unacceptable.
All right, okay,
wrong.
David, let's hold it. Yes, George.
Okay.
No, 1 minute, Moses, 1 minute. George is coming in.
Probably Mr. Sunday is forgetting. They have two. Our legislature is a bicameral legislature. It has two houses: the House of Reps and the House of Senate. The Speaker of the House of the House of Reps doesn't, anytime, any moment, interfere with what the Senate does. Likewise, the pro tem of the Senate doesn't interfere with what the Speaker of the House of Representatives does. So, in this case, the legislature has the two houses have two speakers, two spokespersons. The Senate has theirs, the House of Reps have theirs. So this
Moses was specific about the House of Representatives.
He was very clear. No.
Moses was specific. No, Moses, anyway.
You didn't hear Mr. Sunny. I wanted to make it very clear. I want to say the information. So this spokesperson is not spokesperson not for the legislature, but for the House of Reps. And I agree with you. If you are a public relation person, if you are a public relation person for any entity, in my journalistic view, you're not just the PR for the head of that entity. You are the public relation officer for all the staff.
All the staff. Individual
and all of its staff.
He doesn't know why
what affects them, because the prominence in that place is the name of that entity. It will always be involved in anything that any of those staff does. We say this staff working with this entity. And, so it is always important. And what's important, Mr. Henshaw has spoken to that issue. And, but he didn't. He defended the entire thing. I think it was a mistake.
I think, Moses can come in.
Let me come in, Lord John. Let me just piggyback on what my brother Tagwe and George said. Look, honestly, guys, as a media person, like any of us who grew up in the media, when I hear people who claim to be communicators, spokesperson, and speak in such a manner, it just becomes unimaginable. How can you be director of communication of the House of Representatives? Someone raised a serious concern about the person who heads the House of Representatives, and he said this person is an individual. I can talk about that. It means that the man does not even understand his term of reference. You speak for the House, and you refer to the speaker as an individual. What school of journalism did this man go to? This is sad, man.
Seriously,
this is sad. Oh, man, that is shame.
Discuss that. You should not say what he said, man.
That is shameful, man. That is embarrassing, man. That man need to go back to school.
And now someone to play the devil's advocate.
It is not. It is not.
Somebody wants to crucify my brother. It's better for us to hit.
The thing is, Moses, I think and I want to believe, and I think I partly agreed with Robert Haynes in another way. The speaker has a communication person, and that person speaks on behalf of the speaker. So when it comes to issues affecting this, the lives of the speaker, whatever it is, that person takes the responsibility or is under obligation to speak to the
No,
public.
no,
I come here.
Someone.
I'm coming. Let me learn.
The speaker
Let me learn.
No.
Let me justice. I'm not the three of you guys.
Just allow me to cross learn.
I'm not the three of you guys will come and beating on me. But the point is, the speaker has his communication person.
In his
I
office.
think if the speaker didn't have, Rabbi Haynes would have been under the obligation to speak on behalf of the speaker. But the fact that the speaker has hired someone, in fact, we've on 2-3 occasions we've hosted that on this program.
Sumo, yeah.
That's the small. So he's there to speak on behalf of the speaker. So I think Rabbi Haynes didn't slip in any way. He was not rocking any way to say, look, I can respond to the privacy of the speaker or whatever that contains that concerns his life. I can speak to that.
I don't want to ask
Rather, I can speak to what concerns the generality of the house.
I don't want to ask you,
Chief.
I don't want to ask you.
Let's see.
Who's the most prominent person in the House of Reps?
The speaker.
The speaker.
Yeah. He's the number one man there.
And here's his prominence, right?
No, so that's the reason. Go ahead. I'll answer your question.
Who was hired or who was hired by the House of Reps to be the spokesperson for that house?
Rabbi Haynes was hired.
Fine.
But in the same vein, the speaker also hired a spokesperson.
So what I'm
come here.
Okay.
So Rabbi Haynes does not, entirely covered the speaker.
Versatile is subordinate to. It's
Very
a subordinate
good.
to.
Granted.
It's a subordinate to Rabbi
That's the
Haynes.
reason why.
Rabbi Haynes.
I come in. That's the reason why Rabbi Haynes has decided not to go deep into what concerns the speaker. No. If the speaker took a decision in plenary, no, gentlemen, let's try not to beat on Rabbi Haynes wrongly. If the speaker took a decision in plenary, if he took a decision in plenary, Rabbi Haynes is under obligation to communicate that decision to the public. But not when the speaker is engulfed in some private issue, Rabbi Haynes come up to clarify that or to speak on that. No. The speaker has his...
So what? So let me just say.
1 minute, we can't speak together.
Okay.
Moses, you can come in.
No, I would have loved to come before.
That was it.
Oh,
That Moses coming.
Yeah. So look, that is laughable, absolutely laughable. So if that man claimed that Speaker that Mr. Kuhn is an ordinary person, from the onset when he was speaking, he said the speaker delivered a statement. The speaker said this, the speaker said that, everyone seems to be in an upbeat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's simply saying that anything that has to do with the speaker forms part of his job duty. Forms part of his job duty because he speaks for that entity.
No. That's what I did with you.
Wait, let me compliment. Let me compliment my thought, right? So I say everything that has to do with the speaker form part of that entity. You heard George ask you, who is the most prominent person in the house?
The speaker.
Right?
But the speaker has a spokesperson.
Listen. So if the speaker is the most prominent person and the speaker is linked to an act that brings the integrity of the House of Representatives into public disrepute, you will tell me you can't speak to that?
But
Now,
come on, Moses.
We're talking about the image. We're talking about the image. The image of the house is at stake. You say you can't speak to that?
Moses, 1 minute. He didn't say you couldn't speak to that. Tata asked the question, and he said, as far as he's concerned, he's not. There's absolutely no conspiracy that he knows of. He said that clearly. I come in. Moses, let me come in. The man didn't say he's not. He said if there's any conspiracy that Taba is making reference to, he's not aware of that. As far as he's concerned, the lawmakers are all working together, and you could see that on their faces today. And that was his response. So for us to beat on him because he didn't respond to your question or Taba's question about the speaker being engulfed into whatever, no. We let us not beat on him like that.
And Saba,
I'm coming. If he said it clearly, he said my role is to cover the entire House of Representatives. But it's not but that's individual lawmakers.
Right.
Because the point is, bulk of the lawmakers in that Capitol building, they have people that they hired as communication people.
And that is why I got
So that why no, I'm coming. That why his limitation is. He has his own limitation. So if there is an issue that came up in plenary, he can respond to that. He can speak to that. He can communicate that to the public. And if they have to do with individual lawmakers, no, I don't say we beat on him for that.
And that's Saba.
We have to go.
Let me wrap it up.
Mr. Haynes, I know that he's in a very critical position.
In a tight position.
Very tight position. I know that. But you know, as a journalist, I'm looking at it from a journalistic point of view. And I don't think you would disagree with me that even the marital affairs of the speaker in crisis is not the speaker's privacy.
No, but if whatever the people are coming. No. He's got limitation. On the most serious note, he has limitation. His limitation is he doesn't cover the speaker on that particular side. No, he does not. That's the speaker's That's the speaker's issue. The speaker has
we can say personal.
Yes, go ahead.
So my thing is that like you rightly said, right?
Mm-hmm.
This individual was hired by the legislature, quote unquote, the lower house, to do a specific job.
Yeah, surely.
His duty is not to go into the speaker's personal life.
Or his duty is not to go into
individuals lawmakers' life.
And the fact that the lawmakers have their own communication
person.
No, he has a limitation.
Now, one time we hosted a communication person from the speaker's office here. So if you have anything that has to do with that particular
the speaker's life,
the speaker's
office, issue,
you speak to Beverly Small.
I have a disagreement.
Why?
I don't agree with that.
You know, it is absolutely unthinkable that Saba will take such a position. Even myself. No, what I'm saying that it is absolutely unthinkable that Saba would take such a position only to shield Mr. Haynes.
I'm not sure.
The first thing here is that Rabbi Haynes is the overall spokesperson of the entire legislature.
No.
Of the House of Representatives. Okay, that's a slip of tongue.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is the issue. You're talking about Vasily Cassidy Bain and Vasily Small being the spokesperson of the Speaker's
office.
Vasily Small is subservient to Rabbi Haynes.
Granted.
Rabbi Haynes is the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. The Speaker is the face of the legislature, House of Representatives.
Let me ask you.
So,
no, let me ask you.
Rabbi Haynes, Rabbi Haynes is the boss of Vasily Small.
Dave, we have to transition.
He's the official spokesperson of the House.
Let me ask you.
Just
1 minute. 1 minute, Moses, I'm coming. Dave, let's be frank here.
Yeah.
Didn't Rabbi Haynes answer your question? He did.
In what sense?
You asked him about the conspiracy.
No. The conspiracy, he answered that.
Fine. So one other question for you.
Wait now.
Maybe Sandy's question.
For him to have said, for Rabbi Haynes to have said, I think that's a professional blunder on the part of Rabbi. For him to have said that He speaks for the entire House of Representatives and not individual lawmakers. When he knows that
he's right.
the House Speaker as an individual is the face of the House of Representatives.
No, he's right.
I'm talking. No, you know, Mr. How to call himself? Edwin Famula. Edwin Famula is a lawyer. He's a student lawyer. He doesn't know about journalism. And for him, we are speaking from a journalistic point of view. As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Rabel Haynes has professionally blundered. The fact that you know that the Speaker is the head of the House of Representatives. He's the face of the House of Representatives. When anything happens at the House, the Speaker is the first person. For Rabel Haynes to have said that he can speak for the Speaker as an individual, I think it's a very big blunder on the part of Mr. Haynes, and I think he needs to.
So let me just come in quickly.
Yeah, we'll have to consider.
No, I didn't make my statement. Are you there?
Go ahead.
Okay. This is just what I want to say quickly. And Mr. Famula, with all due respect to you, with the exception of you, we are media gurus. We are not novices in this business. We know what we're talking about. Let me ask you this question, Sober George. President Joseph Yuma Boakai has a press secretary.
Good.
Kula, right? Kula Fofana is the press secretary. Okay. If anything comes up that draws the integrity of the president into question, are you telling me that the Minister of Information, Jeremy Pia, who speaks for the country, will say, oh, well, I can speak to that, you got to go speak to Kula? Answer that question.
No.
I just say, of course. I just say, when did that, Mr. Famula?
How?
Okay, gentlemen, we'll have to transition.
Of course, we have Kula is a spokesperson for the president's office.
Yes.
So there's
come on.
the president's office. Have to do with the president. So that's the same thing, right?
The question I asked is the same thing with the speaker. The question I asked is the same thing with the speaker. Anything that has to do with the integrity of the House, Mr. Hans has a responsibility to speak.
No, George, we can talk together. Moses, you got to complete your statement quickly. We got to transition.
Yeah. So quickly, what I was saying, I asked that question to tell you guys that anything that has to do with the Republic of Liberia, Jeremy Pia, anything that has to do with the president, that draws the integrity of the president into question, Jeremy Pia will never tell anybody that he can speak to that because he's not press secretary.
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with the House of Representatives, that draws the integrity of the House, the integrity of the speaker into question, the spokesperson of the House of Representatives.
I'm coming now, Moses, we have to transition.
Yeah,
but let me say this. Were we not around here when the issue of the FOIA project came up?
Jeremy Pia
said you were not speaking to aid. Kula said she was not speaking to aid. And the rest of them, until they decided to jointly do a press statement to come up with it as a government. So it happens. The thing is, Rabbi Haynes.
Who came up with the statement?
I come.
Wasn't it Jeremy Pia?
But because he's the head of the government. That's why
he was.
He's the spokesperson of the government. Rabbi Haynes is the chief spokesperson of the House of Representatives. Gentlemen, somebody get shy away from this. We can't beat Rabbi Haynes. Rabbi Haynes is not responsible entirely for all the lawmakers.
No, I said disagree.
Rabbi Haynes has limitation. The man, listen, in that law, I told you again, let me say this to you. Bulk of the lawmakers got their own press attaché and the communication people. So they limited Rabbi Haynes in such a way that he only reports on what happens in plenary. What happens in plenary. Okay, gentlemen, we'll have to transition quickly.
Yeah, transition.
You listen to the nighttime heat to Red Up Proud on Prime FM 105.5. Quickly, you listen to the Nighttime Heat on Prime FM 105.5. Want to share the show? The show is being streamed live on Nighttime Heat page on your Facebook page. Just type Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show online or either on your YouTube channel. You're also going to follow the show online. Just type Nighttime Heat on the program. I can take this call up quickly. Let me try to establish contact with Mr. Ambula quickly, because he's been trying to connect with us. Let me try to connect with him so as to hear from Ambula quickly on this this controversial port autonomous bill. Let's try to talk to Ambula quickly for a few minutes. I'm sure 7 minutes, and then we'll go into the issue that has to do with the police quickly. Ambula, welcome to the Nighttime Heat.
Hello, Sabo.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the Nighttime Heat.
Thanks for the team tonight.
Okay.
The Heat.
Well, the Heat is here. Hoping that you don't fall under the Heat as well. But somewhere along when I ask the question, we have some other members of the team. David Benedictus and Erasmus Nangwe Tagwe. The guy is part of the program. You have to drink a bottle of water before you can call his name. Edwin Famula also is member of the team. George Kennedy, member of the team, and our diaspora panelist, Moses Sandy, is also a member of the team. So I'm sure you're going to receive questions from all of them. So welcome again to the Nighttime Heat, Ambula.
Thank you, Sabo, and thank you to the rest of the team, Famule, and I heard the other names of the other.
Okay, so let me
go ahead.
Let me kick the ball rolling quickly. I'm sure we'll have you for close to 30 minutes.
Sure.
But what is your reading? What is your understanding about this port autonomous bill that continues to receive lots of public reactions, and with some saying, well, it shouldn't be signed by the president, with some saying, well, it should be signed by the president. What's your reading? Because I'm sure you may have gone through the bill, you may have understood line by line. What's your reading?
My reading, I would not or not signed for the president. What I would say is the president vetoed the bill a few months ago on governance around usurpation of the authority of the maritime. And what I would tell the president is the new law did not address the core issues on which you vetoed the bill. So many the issues are unresolved to a larger extent. Some case along the way, but the core issues the president raised, those issues were not addressed. And we can go into the details. So it is up to the president he wants to continue with a law that is vetoed that came back to him. If I were in his shoe, I wouldn't. The second time, what I would do as a president is I will rally my cabinet. This is a major reform. Like I said before, this is a legacy reform for the president. Reforming the port sector is similar to reforming the oil sector that President Salif did. Reforming the port sector is similar to reforming the electricity sector that President Salif did and President. One institution, you just change a position and move one director position from here. You are talking about the sector that is percent of import and export into your country. So if I were president, I would summon my cabinet to take.
Mr. Mangwe, Ambula, can we bring you on camera so that we send you the link, because you are coming in distorted. Can we bring you on?
Send me the link.
Okay, we send the link to you quickly. and quickly send the link to him. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat, rated on Prime FM 105.5. And of course, after the interview with Ambula, the police today came up with some updates on 3 major cases, including the high-profile Brian McGill rape case. The police, the much talked about and much awaited DNA test finally was spoken about by the police. Not linking Brian to the DNA. So what does it mean? Does it mean that Brian is off the hook? We're going to talk about that tonight as well. And if time permits, the former president, again yesterday was on his pulpit, spewing and talking about some sending out some message. We will look into that to see what he was really talking about. Saying that some Unity Party folks been asking for some help and hungry and all. So we got to look into that. It's those sort of message, presidential message. We'll look into that before we can go. Let's try to get Ambula quickly. We're trying to send the link so that it comes on camera, and then we can have a pleasant discussion tonight, gentlemen. But that's the shape of the show. We want to share the show tonight. The show promises, I'm sure you're already watching and you are enjoying the show already. So share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can all follow on what's happening tonight on the Nighttime Heat. So, gentlemen, that's the Port Autonomous Bill. Again, I know we spoke about this bill before. There are individuals who think that the bill should not be passed. There are others who think that the bill should be passed. We are hearing, in great van that the president may likely signed or not signed. We earlier spoke with the House, that's the Senate, committee chair on judiciary. So, well, if it is not signed, it's possible that they may likely override, the bill, and at the end of the day, whether it becomes law, we don't know, especially with the president secretary not only. But he said that could likely be their last resort to get this bill passed. So we're trying to still wait Ambula. As soon as Ambula comes in, we'll make sure to have it from quickly. As soon as it comes in, we'll make sure to speak with Ambula and Ambula Mambe concerning the port decentralization bill. Some call it the decentralization bill. Some call it the port autonomous bill, and all of that. I'm going to talk about that. But gentlemen, again, Edwin, you left, went out. You want to go out for lunch or what?
No. My older brother phoned me from the States where we're having some family discussion, so I just had to step out.
Well, thank you for joining me, man, in the debate. All these 3 guys will get to know me, my man.
I know it. And then
the man was going in territory that he doesn't
and then
they don't understand the territory.
And then they try to push this idea about being journalist.
Don't mind.
All of these things are guided by laws.
You are the lawyer or you are the attorney.
All the things are guided by laws.
So somebody like Mami.
Yeah, let's try to welcome Mami again. Mami, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Soba. Good to be here with you all. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, surely. Okay, so you are in speech already. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, so what I was saying was the reform of the port sector should be seen in the same direction of the reform of the oil sector, the reform of the electricity sector, the reform in the agricultural sector with the creation of LAGRA, the creation of the Fishery Authority. This is a major reform for President Boakai. So he should, if I would suggest, he should rally his cabinet, the National Port Authority, LRE, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Commerce, the security agency, because port have critical security issues. The security agencies bring in the development partners, set a timeline, and reform the sector to align with regional and global best practices. The current law does not provide that to the country. The law is contradictory. The law creates confusion. The law doesn't solve the problem.
Now let's go into specifics. When you say that the law is contradictory, the Senate doesn't see it that way. In fact, the Senate believes that that law will help to decentralize or enhance the process of decentralization. The law going to give independence to the port. So when you talk about the law being contradictory, what you further explain what do you mean?
The first thing is go back. This is not my first time. I think I even had a discussion on the show with the law the first time it was passed. This is not my first time. The first time the law was passed, we raised critical issue about it usurping the functions of maritime. The same Senate argued, along with people who work with them, that there were no overlap. The law did not overlap maritime in any ways. All the provisions in the law are allowable, that they were the experts in maritime. Today, the Senate came back to you and have listed over 7, 8, 9 different things they said overlap with maritime, but they not took it from any law. The first time they said it did not overlap. Today they say we remove the overlap. Don't trust them. Trust us. Who told you in the past that there were overlap? Now they confirm to you that there is overlap, but they're telling you that they've removed all the overlap. You say, no, you did not remove all the overlap. You play around the issues. For example, the most critical issue, if you read the law section 720 under review, 720 under review say, upon the passage of this act, the executive law title, I forgot the title, that gives maritime the power to regulate and supervise ports and harbor in Liberia are hereby repealed, and all such power and authority are transferred to the regulator. What are those powers and authority that maritime had before that were transferred to the regulator? When you go down in the Act creating maritime from 37.1 to 37.6, you will see all such powers. So if you say clearly that you transfer all powers from regulating and supervising ports and harbor in Liberia to the new agency, what other argument can you make that you did not take maritime function? Even if you claim that there are other provisions, other places where you left for maritime, but the core provision in the law that gives maritime the authority to regulate and supervise port, you repeal that provision, thereby leaving maritime with no authority to supervise and regulate port. So that's the first contradiction. The second thing is, that's the first confusion. That's the first confusion. The contradiction is, you make the case that you want all the port to be independent. But section 720.2 says all the assets for each port, from computer to office building to the piers to the warehouses, and everything each port owns will be owned by the regulator. Upon the passage of this act, all the assets of all the ports will be owned by the regulator that is in Monrovia. So what power are you giving to the ports when all their assets is owned by the regulator? But the law did not stop there. It went one step further and said the regulator shall use the asset as a source of revenue. That is not empowering the port. That is not a decentralization you claim you want to give. You establish these ports as shells, but their assets are owned by a regulator. That's contradiction. So we're saying we know the motive. The motive is to empower the ports, which we agree with. In 2025, you cannot have a port system that is operating under a 1970 law. That's unacceptable. That has to be reformed. How do we proceed to do it? It's not the way the Senate is proceeding. The Senate is creating chaos. The Senate is causing confusion without solving the problem.
Okay. Now, let me ask this question before my other colleagues can come. There's been this concern also about leaving out or excluding some agencies of government in trying to carve this bill, naming the NPA, the LRA, the Ministry of Finance, and the rest of them. And that issue was raised also with the Senate Committee on Judiciary. And he answered that they are not it's not compelling that, in trying to make a law or come up with a law that they will have to include some agencies on the executive. It's not something compelling. Do you agree with that?
Well, it is not compelling, but it is good practice. The president also, mind you, you're talking about two branches of government. The president is not a port expert. The president is not a security expert. The president is not a maritime expert. The president is not a revenue expert. He's not a custom expert. He's not a port management expert. So he depends on his lieutenants in the executive to advise him on what he wants to see in the reform process. So if that's why they say you coordinate. So if you as a legislature is making a law to transform a major sector under the executive, and you expect the president to sign, but you cannot invite his lieutenants to participate in that process of formulating the law, how do you expect him to sign? Who is advising him to sign when his lieutenants on the field are not participating in the law that he's supposed to sign? So again, it comes to the president can say, but since you don't want my lieutenants to participate into the process of formulating this law, and this sector is under me as an executive, I cannot sign with all their input. That is why the first version of the president's communication to the Senate was he called for broad consultation, because he doesn't want this back and forth. He wants the consultation to go on so that when the law gets to him, it's a product of a consultation and agreement between the legislature and agents of the executive. In that case, it makes it easier for the president to sign.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, so Mr. Mame, I listened to I'm David Tagbe. I listened to your premise, and that, look, it's contradictory for the ports to be autonomous, when in fact their assets will be given to the regulator. If I get you correct, if I'm wrong, then you can get me correct. But my question is, Mr. Mame, one thing you didn't say, I didn't hear you say, do you support the port decentralization bill? Do you support it? Do you support the port decentralization bill?
But this is a bill that I'm explaining to you that is causing confusion with maritime. How would I support it?
No, what I'm hearing you say, like, you support it, but what the problem you have is that for the access to the port to be given to the regulator, this is the impression I've got from your premise you laid.
I do not support the bill before the president, because that bill before the president is contradictory. That bill before the president is causing confusion. That bill before the president is creating an institution that is uncommon, that is strange in the maritime sector. If you check all across Africa, what the agency they're creating represent doesn't appear in anywhere in the port sector in Africa. So it's strange. So I don't support that bill. What I support is a system where power and authority are decentralized to the ports. They can have decision-making power to come up with their own budget. They can be able to execute their own budget. They can do their own procurement on a certain threshold. They can do their hiring and firing on a certain threshold. They can do administrative decisions on a certain threshold. We're all needing to come to Monrovia. That is the system we want. That is the kind of decentralized power and authority we want. We don't want a chaotic system. We don't want a system where institutions are created when there is no need for them to be created. And we'll go into that in the next round of questions. So your
point, this is my follow-up question. So if this is your position, then what do you say about views by some Liberians that the lawmakers, both members of the House of Representatives and the Senate, they are pushing this bill for their own personal aggrandizement. Do you believe that? Is it a case from your point of view?
I mean, a lot of people have said that. They have their reason to say so. I don't want to go that route. The route I want to go is to highlight to the president and other stakeholders. Mr. President, you vetoed the bill on certain counts. Those counts were not addressed. The legislature play around them. They use words and phrases like we ensure. We'll go into the details. They said, the president said, you cannot create an institution to enforce maritime regulation. Then they put into the law, say the institution will ensure maritime regulation is enforced. What's the difference? What's the difference? So, I mean, I will speak to the policy issues. I will highlight the contradictions. I will highlight the confusion, and I will call for what needs to be done to actually empower those folks and make them more vibrant. All the other theory around that, people have different reasons to believe so. I do not have and cannot speak to that. But then it comes to you yourself to ask you, why would people be making a law in Liberia at this time and don't want other people to get involved? Is that a practice? You be a journalist around for long. You saw all the different reforms that happened in Liberia with President Bouakai serving as president of the Senate. You participated in some of them. What about this particular reform that nobody should be involved? It suggests something, but I will leave that and speak to the policy issues.
Okay. George?
Yes, Mr. Miave, good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, some critics of the bill, of this particular bill, as I worry, and some of them are mostly concerned about the bill's failure to address who assume the liabilities of the current setup of the National Port Authority. That is the issue of labor, the issue of contracts, and other liabilities. So you probably have the bill in your hand. Is there anything in that bill that addresses these things, these issues?
To be honest, the bill, the first bill that was presented to the president had absolutely nothing to do with that. They did not provide any provision. And we raised that. I'm on record, it's on my page. I raised the issue of a transitional clause lacking in the bill. This new bill provides for transitional clause. That transitional clause is said will happen in 1 year. Then it said during that transitional period, the heads of the board and the managing director will be dissolved. And the directors, their lower level staff, will assume responsibility of the management of the ports.
How can you do that?
So that is what is in the law. So they created a transitional clause, they created a 1 year transitional clause, and then they said that transitional clause will happen, but upon the passage of the law, the board and management will dissolve, and the junior level staff will take over the management of the ports during the transitional period. That is up to the president if that's the type of transition he wants. If I were the president, I wouldn't accept just a transition.
Okay.
It's like the former government telling HRs after ministers left, say HRs should take over ministries and agencies, isn't it?
Similar to that, the only difference there is that is a political transition from one political regime to another political regime. This one is a sitting government. The president and the head of state entrusted certain people to lead certain institutions. He have explicit confidence in them. If he doesn't want them, if he feel they're no longer serving him or they can serve in different capacity, let it be the judgment of the president to make those changes.
Okay, Moses, can you come in now?
Yeah, look, I do not have a question. I just want to make one or two clarifications here. I listened to my brother, I think Mame, right? That's how you are called, right?
Miami.
Yeah, so Mame, yeah, okay. So my brother, I want to say thanks so much for the intellectualism. Very good argument you're making. Well, given the kind of society we have, we can do all these intellectual discussions put forth salient argument. But sometimes our people look the other way. And history is replete with that. History is replete with that in Liberia. The most recent one, the oil blacks, these companies, some of those companies, you also made an argument against some of the companies that put forth, bids, and at the end, those bills were passed. So I'm saying this to say that look, the current situation is unpredictable. And President Bogart can wake up tomorrow, depending on the kind of people in his inner cycle. The man can go say, look, even though Align veto this bill, he did not veto, because when you veto, it's absolute rejection. But in this case, he indicated concerns. Say, look, I have concerns about this, I have concern about this, I have concern about that. Go and correct this problem. So tomorrow you can wake up and the president say all my concerns were addressed, and the man can sign it into law. That what makes our situation very sad. Democracy, the way we exercise democracy, sometimes we allow personal ego to drive everything in our country. I'm like, you are making a very silly argument. How many persons are willing to listen to you? So I can just tell you that the current situation is unpredictable. That's all I want to say, my brother.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Muhammad, just probably, I'm told from the angle of the NPA that some of the things you say, like some financial autonomy, administrative autonomy to the outputs, are already enshrined in the port strategic plan. And those things, they require bold decision, bold resolution, bold decision.
Yes, I mean the NPA strategic plan, which is online, I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
It lays out a clear pathway to empowering what they call outputs.
Yeah.
Clear pathway. The first strategic, this whole thing comes back to governance issue again. We'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
The first priority in NPA strategic plan is governance reform and empowering of outstation ports. The key activities there, one, is to pass a resolution from the board that will empower each port to develop their own budget, to execute their own procurement, to do hiring at certain levels that is guided with the NPA's policy, to do their own corporate social responsibility initiative at their own level. While that process is going on, the second initiative there is to reform the NPA's Act and get cabinet endorsement of a reform act. Once cabinet endorses the reform act, the president submits it to the legislature for ratification. That's laid out clearly. Now, this is an executive function. The president asks people to lead the port. They come up with a strategic plan endorsed by the board, ready for implementation. And then the legislature on the other side is uttering something completely different. It shows this organization. So the president's lieutenant, his board, come up with a plan, and they are in the process of implementation. And the legislature, which is a separate branch of government, comes up with a completely different thing without inviting them to get their opinion, without engaging them, even after the president asks that do more consultation. Still, you cannot do it, but you want the president to sign it because you're powerful. You can't run government there on power. You got to run it on reasoning.
Okay, Mr. Mohammed, very shortly we'll be taking leave of you, but I want you to answer these two questions I do have. We hear from supporters of the bill that one reason for which the support and they are pushing this bill is that not much is coming out of the ports. in terms of contribution to the national budget. And like the chair of the House Committee, the Senate Committee on Judiciary indicated, the port just in the practice of giving
dishing out big
salaries and giving cronies jobs. Instead, the rural people are being left out, not getting anything at all, not benefiting at all. Do you share, or do you string along with his analysis, or you think they are flawed?
If the whole story about port's contribution to revenue is a half story, and then I get put, but even all the SOEs, it's a half story. And I've asked the people leading the SOE, my colleagues, Mo Ali, Amos Tuer, Clarence Masakwe, and Sekou. I've asked them to really take this on. It's a half story. It's a half narrative that is wrong. The contribution of SOEs to the budget is not only dividend. Dividend
Keep
is one
dial
of the
fixed. Don't tune off. Lock 105.5 on your FM dial. Keep rolling with your tasty dial, the home of exceptional pro.
Yes, go ahead.
So the LRA usually, there are 4 ways, there are up to 4 ways depots contribute to the government revenue, directly and indirectly, like 4 different ways. One way the LRA usually announces is the dividend contribution, which is true. To say they did not pay their dividend, that's one. But there are corporate income taxes that they pay. There are withholding taxes that they pay. There are royalties that they paid. The LRA doesn't announce that. So when you just announce that they did not pay a dividend, therefore they did not contribute to the budget, it's a half narrative. It's a false narrative. I've asked my colleagues, I said, gentlemen, don't do this. Get your accounts people to capture how much you actually contributed outside of dividend contribution. Dividend is just one. And if you did the calculation for some of these institutions, you realize that they are contributing more than $5-7 million. If you add dividend there, which sometimes is around 3-4, maybe you take it up to 10. So if they did not contribute dividend, which what LRA is announcing, so they did not contribute that $5 million dividend. But meanwhile, they have contributed other sources of revenue that up to $4-5 million. So I can agree with you, they did not contribute dividend, but I would disagree with you to say they're not contributing to the budget, because there are multiple ways they contribute to the budget. And if you only take one, then that's a half narrative. But let's assume that SOE and SOE or NPA in this case is not contributing to the budget. Let's assume that is true. The solution is not to dismantle the port. The solution is not to pass a law that conflicts with maritime. The solution is not to create a repetitive institution like a regulator. The solution is not to create independent port and take all their assets and put it under a regulator. That's not the solution. So let's agree that what you're saying is true. Is that the solution? No, that's not the solution.
Okay. Now, with the contradictions that you were able to bring out, and some of the changes that you want, or things that you want to be done, so as to ensure that the bill gets the signature of the president. What do you think will be those things?
One, the president sent the bill back to the Senate, marshal his cabinet, set a timeline for them that I want the port sector to be reformed. The president knows how reforms were conducted when he was vice president. We reformed the oil sector, he saw it. Reformed the electricity sector, he saw it. Reformed the agriculture sector, he saw it. Reform the telecommunication sector, he saw it. He knows the process. There's a template. Without generating anything yet, rocket science. The process is there. It was done and done well. Just follow that same process. It becomes simple and clear. Nothing to rush about. We've done it before. We learned the mistakes. We know the tricks. Just follow that template of what we use to reform other sector under the Unity Party government. Use that template and reform the whole sector. That's what I would ask the president to do.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mamwe. Thank you. Really appreciate your time on the program. We're hoping to have you again. Thank you for your expert opinion. We really appreciate your time on the program.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. Well, gentlemen, we're about to transition into the story concerning the police update today. And let's play
One minute
to analyze.
Let's go strictly into the. You want to analyze this again? This is clear. What we're talking about? Okay. Dave, okay. Dave, what's your takeaway from what Mamwe just explained?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Mamwe is an expert in providing this kind of analysis. And I mean, there's nothing that I can say about that, but I think he's quite correct. The president needs to be very meticulous in deciding whether or not to sign that document, to sign it or not to sign it. He should use the wisdom. He's expected to be a man of wisdom. He should use the wisdom to make a decision that will be in the best interest of Liberian and Liberian people. That's what I can say about that.
Yes, Edwin.
Well, my thing is, and there's a reason why I didn't ask question, because we've spoken about this whole Port Autonomy Act from for almost the past 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Now, I listened to Brother Moses saying that we live in a country where tomorrow morning you could wake up and the bill is signed. Yes, that's true. But again, I think there's something called public opinion, and most often the leaders are listening to these things, getting feedback from their people. I think the leadership will understand that, look, I don't believe that this is the way to go. In as much as I veto certain items before, but with the kind of outcry and with what we're hearing from out there, why not you guys go back, take the existing act that created the port, since you're looking for autonomy for these, port. And one thing that we have to know, the ports are already decentralized. The ports are in different regions. They're not in one county. So all you need to do now is to request for financial autonomy, in the sense that because you want to, revamp those infrastructure so that it will benefit the larger society, which is Liberians, or who are not per the idea that they're trying to push, that it should benefit the people of Sino, it should benefit the people of Bassa. Now,
I think the
lawmakers need to do.
I'm not cutting you off. I think the best nomenclature should be the autonomy.
The autonomy, yes,
bill.
yeah.
No.
Not
Decentralized, because
not even that bill. They can go back to the act that created the MPA, rectify certain portion that gave these ports certain level of autonomy. Now, one valid question that I asked myself the other day was that most of the services that has been offered by the port, through LRA, it's been done by foreigners. Take, for example, Metex, right? CTM, Slobo. Why our lawmakers are not interested in those areas? Because that's where bulk of the resources that come from our marine sector is determined. Why are we not saying to ourselves, we need to start jealously guiding these areas or so? Because you just have some Lebanese guys who sit somewhere and they make money on our back. So why are we not training our own people to say, look, it is not time that we start training Liberians to handle our maritime affairs instead of us bringing in company. Look, I have nothing against foreigners being here, but take, for example, CTM. If I tell you who's running CTM, you won't believe it. And these are things that we can do. These are things that can bring extra money into our economy that will also help to revamp these ports. But we give it to foreign, we get little or nothing out of it. So I think this is what we need to jealously start guiding before we start going to try to dismantle.
You are pushing the same revolution that Donkey always. Let's hear from you, Kennedy, quickly.
Yes, when I heard, I always saying that when I heard the word port decentralization, I got confused. But my understanding from it was that probably we're going to establish another port in maybe
Grand Cape Martin.
Grand Cape or Bombing or Lofa, or inland port in Nima, other places. That's what my mind was concentrating on. But later when I got to know that, we're going to decentralize existing port, I knew that, maybe the educated board makes this one again. So even the countryman would not think about that. But if you speak about some level of financial autonomy, frankly, it's already addressed in the NPA strategy plan. And it's just bold resolution. I think I know that what should have, maybe this year, that should have started with the current budget. That's why I'm saying it just needed approval. Bold decision that will have solved the entire problem. So if you guys try to push, this and that, how can you say you want the port to stay for the people, but you say the assets are there? And, what will you do with that? The assets are there not for them. So a lot of mistakes these guys made in that process. We have one government, one country. The Minister of Finance head office is based in Monrovia, and that head office would not be based in Lofa, Nimba, or anywhere. Our law says the head offices of these entities should be based in the capital city. That's what the law says.
Okay.
So, we cannot have one army or one army in Vijana, another set of army in Grand Cru. So it's a unitary state. We need to understand this from our people and then go forward.
Okay, let's hear from you, Moses.
Sign up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quickly, let me just say this. Look, I want to reiterate my position. When this administration, when the UP was campaigning, the thing was very common that they were coming to effect changes, especially at the port. Foreign companies managing port activities, that formed part of the agenda. This administration being here for the last 2 years, those things structures are in place because of what? Personal ego. It's not about the country.
Like CT.
So we can do all the talking. And gentlemen, let's be human. Sometimes I like to be human, It gets to a point, you just get to the point of acceptance. Because that's just how we roll back home. Very intellectual, a very good intellectual discussion. Mr. Famula, you said all of you, every one of us on this show here, we have discussed a number of critical issues in our country, and our people look the other way. It gets to the point where you just resign unto yourself. The people already made up their mind. The president made significant objections. He said, hey, what you guys are doing is done without the input of the executive. What you are doing, you encroaching on my executive authority for lawmakers to say that they will recruit board members that interferes with executive function. All of these things are in there. The mayor raised objection. They went back and yesterday we submitted the same bill to the mayor with the same information. No absolute correction. So who knows? Do I know who is working behind the scene? Of course not. None of us on this can be definitive to say, the president is going to reject this bill, or it's going to veto this bill, or the president will sign. The only thing I can say is that the current situation remains unpredictable. You can wake up tomorrow, the president say, hey, I veto. You can wake up tomorrow and the president say, I go along with my lawmakers, I sign it into law. So let me close out on that.
Okay, thank you, Moses, and thank you, gentlemen, for your thoughts on the issue of the Ports Autonomous Bill. Let's try to transition now. Again, you're listening to the Nighttime Heat, rated on Prime FM 105.5. Kindly share the show. Just go on your Facebook page and you tap Nighttime Heat. I'm sure you'll be able to watch the show online. Likewise, maybe on your YouTube channel. You can also tab Nighttime Heat, and of course, you follow the show, especially while you are in the diaspora. Gentlemen, let's listen to the police RG, the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, providing updates today on 3 critical cases. First, the case involving Brian McGill. Let's listen to him.
Liberians, the Liberia National Police has convened this briefing to provide a comprehensive, transparent, and evidence-based update on 3 separate but serious criminal investigations that have attracted significant public attention. These cases underscore the fundamental principles that guide the Liberia National Police. To go over them, we'll look at the protection of victims, especially children and other vulnerable persons, strict adherence to due process and presumption of innocence, and 3, decisions driven by evidence, not public pressure, speculation, or social media narratives. I will address each case individually, outline the investigative steps taken, clarify the outcome reached, and this will be done based on facts and law. Case 1, we'll look at the J. Brian McGill case. That has been a long, ongoing investigation. Liberia National Police conducted an extensive, multi-layered criminal investigation following a rape allegation involving a 14-year-old minor and Mr. J. Brian McGill. The key investigative actions taken included the following: GSM call data and cell site location analysis, independent GPS location verification, review of available CCTV footage, and full DNA analysis conducted through international forensic partners. The findings: the telecommunication and GPS data conclusively excluded Mr. McGill's presence at the alleged crime scene during the relevant time. CCTV footage did not support claims of his presence. The DNA forensic results, which have now been received, excludes Mr. McGill as a contributor to biological material recovered from the victim's clothing. While unidentified male DNA was detected, they were matched against Mr. Brian McGill's DNA, and they came back without any connection. Based on the totality of digital forensic and physical evidence, the Liberia National Police exonerated Mr. Brian McGill from this investigation. However, I must emphasize, the investigation remains open, and efforts are ongoing to identify the unknown DNA contributor. This case demonstrates that LNP will protect victims without sacrificing fairness, objectivity, or due process. It is our hope that the family of the victim will continue to cooperate with the police for us to work together and bring the perpetrator, who is still out there, to justice. The second case has to do with Mr. Peter Bonjala, following a formal complaint filed on January 5th, 2026 concerning repeated sexual abuse of a 16-year-old minor. The investigative findings, medical examination confirmed findings were consistent with sexual abuse. The victim provided detailed time-specific accounts. Independent witnesses corroborated the victim's presence at the defendant's residence, and GSM forensic analysis placed the suspect within the vicinity of the crime scene during the relevant period under investigation. Statements provided by the defendant were materially contradicted by the witness and forensic evidence. Legal action based on probable cause. The Liberia National Police has formally charged Mr. Peter Bonjala with the following charges from the revised penal law, the revised penal code: rape, statutory rape, sodomy, Chapter 14.70, gang rape. Chapter 14.702, kidnapping. Chapter 14.501. If the defendant has been forwarded to court, and the matter now lies before the judiciary.
Okay, gentlemen, we heard about the 2 of the 3 cases. I think that's quite those are high-profile cases that he spoke about, the Brian McGill and the latest case. But before we can talk about our own individual assessment, let me read what the Senate Committee Chair on Judiciary. He's a lawyer already. He came off his analysis on what happened. Senate Judicial Committee Chair, Councilor Augustine Chia writes, so on what DNA or forensic evidence did the police base their arrest, detention, and referral to court of sodomy suspect Peter Bono Jala Jr.? He's asking a question. Arbitrary selective policing? That's a question. The rule of law depends on the consistent and impartial enforcement of legal standards. When law enforcement authorities apply different evidentiary thresholds to similar criminal allegations, the legitimacy of the justice system is compromised. Recent police handling of 2 sexual offense cases, the first involving suspended Deputy Youth and Sports Minister J. Brian McGill, who allegedly raped a 16-year-old girl, and the second involving dismissed Deputy NSA Director Peter Bono Jala Jr., who it is alleged sodomized a 15-year-old boy, highlights troubling inconsistencies in arrest practices. In the first case, the police declined to arrest the Deputy Minister McGill, the rape suspect, citing the absence of DNA evidence. In the second case, the police arrested and detained the Deputy Director Jala, accused of sodomizing a minor without DNA or forensic proof. This is inconsistency and abuse of discretion. Our criminal law does not require DNA evidence as a precondition for arrest. Under the criminal procedure law, the police are empowered to arrest a suspect when there is reasonable suspicion that an offense has been committed. The legal threshold for arrest is therefore distinct from the higher standard of proof required at trial. Victim statements, witness accounts, medical reports, and surrounding circumstances may lawfully, from the basis of reasonable suspicion or probable cause, DNA evidence, though valuable, is not a statutory requirement at the arrest stage. The selective reliance on DNA evidence in one case but not in another raises concerns about arbitrary selective exercise of police discretion. Such inconsistency violates Article 11C of the Constitution, which guarantees equality before the law, and Article 20A, which protects the right to personal liberty and due process. While the police arrested, detained, and charged Peter Bono Jala Jr. with aggravated involuntary sodomy based on reasonable suspicion or probable cause and not DNA evidence, and rightly so, the police have refused to arrest and detain J. Brian McGill on the same probable cause standards, but requiring DNA evidence. And what is even more troubling and disheartening is that the police have today cleared Deputy Minister J. Brian McGill of the rape allegations, raising serious questions about how this determination was reached. Treating DNA evidence as indispensable in some cases, but optional in others, undermines the principles of equal treatment before the law and weakens confidence in the justice system. The issue is not whether DNA evidence should be pursued. It should be collected whenever possible. But whether police actions are guided by law rather than discretion, applied unevenly, consistent or uniform application of arrest standard is essential to maintaining public trust and ensuring what justice is neither arbitrary nor selective. From the Liberian people and the rule of law, J. Brian McGill is still a rape suspect, according to the gentleman.
Consider Senator.
You listen to the police IG, and you also listen to what I read from a lawyer, a senator. Let me get to your.
So, if you mind, if you give me your time, I just want to speak quickly on this.
Okay.
I think the chair of the Senate Standing Committee has an argument, a very salient argument. You know, we talk about consistency. If you become inconsistent, it creates problem of credibility for you. And that's what's happening now. Because in the past, the police looked the other way. They continuously ask for what? DNA, 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 DNA. And in the case of Mr. Jala, the police did not exercise that. The police said they had enough evidences, witnesses testify to what happened, and predicated on that, they said there was a probable cause. This man was arrested and thrown into prison. In the case of McGill, they said, look, we went to Rwanda, we signed an MOU, a DNA was done, and the DNA establishes that McGill was not the perpetrator. But there is a problem that I have with the chair of the Senate Standing Committee and the entire legislature. You know, so about you cannot cherry pick. Senator Chair chairs one of the most powerful committee in the Senate. When McGill's situation erupted last year, what did he do? What did he say? What did the committee that he chairs that has oversight over the judiciary? What did he say? Did he speak out? Did anyone in the House of Representatives speak out on this matter? I mean, we can't be cherry picking, man. We have to be a serious country. We have to be. Okay. If it is wrong today, it is wrong. If it was wrong yesterday, then it should be wrong today. I mean, the senator is cherry picking. He's cherry picking. Okay. Sorry, he's cherry picking.
All right, we heard your position. Dave, let's hear from you also.
I don't know what is considered cherry picking. Look, I'm not a lawyer, but common sense tells us that. Look, you don't have people passing around and accusing people of rape without any shred of evidence, and then they are arrested. Somebody just gets a warrant and they say David Tagwell raped me. David Tagwell walks into my house and raped me. And then David Tagwell is driving and put in jail. And then David Tagwell is innocent of such an allegation. Nothing is on a basis that the police did not arrest Brian McGill. Brian McGill was accused of raping the girl. But during police preliminary investigation, there wasn't any shred of evidence to have compelled the police to have arrested Mr. McGill. To have arrested Mr. McGill. Now, in the case of Mr. Bono Jala, there were immediate pieces of evidence. For example, contradictions that he gave to the police during the preliminary investigations. That at no time did he do business with the victim in question. But witnesses' testimony,
telephone records
show that Mr. McGill, in fact, he and that guy lived in the same community. They both frequented his house, his residence. But he lied that he did not know the boy, had no time did he do business with. That's a contradiction.
You're not Mr. McGill now.
Mr. Jala, sorry for that.
Yes.
So that's it. It's one of the major contradictions. Then at the end of the day, and besides that, that also corroborated with the eyewitnesses or the witnesses' testimonies that Mr. McGill or Mr. Bonajala has been knowing that boy for a long time, and they have been interacting. The boy frequented his residence. But he told the police different things. People
let us not come here. Let us not miss out on what the senator said.
No.
I come in. Mm-hmm. The senator in his rhetoric, he indicated that what was wrong, that after the allegation was made against McGill,
that he was
that the police didn't pick it up. Rather, an allegation has been made against Jala has been picked up.
Yeah, because of the immediacy of the evidence provided. Maybe in the case of McGill, the evidence or whatever.
So what you say immediacy of the evidence?
Wait now. So in this case, in this case, look, the police, in my view, the police has been professional in handling the two cases. People felt, look, we can have a rape case coming up, and people want the police decisions to be influenced by what the public thinks.
Okay, let's hold you there.
What individuals think and want the police to do.
So if you listen to my opening statement, I say here the issue of the law. Most of our laws on the book are archaic, and Senator Chie, who is a counselor at law, I think a couple of them in there that have law degree. I think they need to start looking at our law very keenly to make sure that the laws conform with current day reality. The same law says that you are presumed innocent until proven guilty before a court of competent jurisdiction. Now, if you as a lawyer saying that because this man was picked up because of, and first of all, the crime could be similar, they are quite different. You're talking about sodomy here.
Different in nature.
They're different in nature. Now, what happens to, first of all, before you even establish a prima facie case, there should be a probable cause. So the police can invite you as a person of interest. They don't have to grab you in the street and put handcuff on your head. That's not what the law says. The police can request for you to come along with your lawyer, and then they sit you down along with your lawyer and go through the initial investigation. Now, the Brian McGill case happened along the same time. There was another fellow who was also involved with the same rape issue. The guy was picked up. Why? Because, like he readily said, the evidence that were produced preliminarily directly linked him to the crime. In fact, there were witnesses that corroborated what the victim said, including even what he himself said. So based on that, the police placed him on arrest. But this whole thing, and I said it here repeatedly, the way the rape law was crafted, it was based on sentiment. And I think, like I said in my opening statement, the legislature that have the statutory responsibility to actually make these laws, they need to sit down, look at these laws, and see how they can work it through. Because, like you rightly said, Slobo, tomorrow you can be walking in the street, a young lady come, God forbid, and say, "This man raped me, hang on you." Should the police people come right away and put handcuff on you? And the bad part about it in this country, there's no claims court. So you live in a look like today now, what all the police have said that based on forensic examination that have been done, Brian McGill, nothing linked Brian McGill to this crime. But do you know what has happened to Brian McGill image? It's been damaged. Who's going to pay for it? There's no claims court. He cannot sue the government, or he cannot even sue the girl family because he will get nothing out of it. So you see, these things are not sentiments. Sometimes we need to sit back and ask ourselves, today is Brian McGill, tomorrow it could be you. Now, this guy on with this Jala guy on, it's clear. The evidence are there. And once you go and sit with these guys who understand the investigation process, there are things that they're looking for in you. And gradually, you will start bringing it out yourself.
Okay, let's hear from you, George.
What some people are doing is the fact that they don't even believe in the police, in the security system in Nigeria. As once that type of belief start getting in us, we lose confidence in the system, and we don't have respect for our system. It's already a national failure, the failure of the state as a whole. The police director was very clear. He said, Mr. Bonjala's case, there's sufficient evidence from preliminary investigation that led them to his arrest. He was just picked on the scene, they go police behind bar door. He went through preliminary investigation. So what really? Look, I said here the other time, no few people, or some young people who have been accused of rape.
And the language behind bar.
And mind you, let's be very frank. We can't call them because for someone going through the same system that Minister McGill went through right now. They are poor, they don't have anything in their life. They are going through the same system with the police. The same type of investigation.
Yeah.
I know today we can't talk everything on the radio, but I know that. So I got angry about the Brian McGill case because he was a prominent person, and at the time we already had a lot of people in jail. I mean, who were pre-detained, were arrested, and taken to jail. But I think these cases should be thoroughly investigated before even the information can come public.
Yeah, because
it's very important because it involves people carrying it. As Mr. Famole said, we don't have claims code. So when they damage you, you are damaged forever. And that's why we'll go on the internet. You there for enough time. You go anywhere, somebody Google your name, you're going to see rape attached to you. You finish, you're done. You're done.
Okay,
so very serious. We can't play with it. Yeah.
So it means that from, like Moses said, the senator was trying to be
cherry picking.
Do you hold the same view? Let me ask you. You being a lawyer in training, you think the senator analysis are flawed?
Yeah, what? They're fraud?
If they are flawed,
of course they are flawed. You know,
because his point is,
I think
the senator's point is, what forensic or DNA evidence that the police use to arrest Bono
Jala, yes,
and not arrest
so if you looked at it, it's not all of the rape cases that police have gone for DNA tests. One will say there's a probable cause and the evidence are clear. Right? Like we said, when the same time McGill was involved, there was another guy again who was also involved.
He was arrested.
But based on the evidence that was produced, it linked this particular suspect to the crime. So therefore, the police has every reason to grab you and, place you now before the court. Now, like I said, the police does not manufacture evidence, right? If the incident that this young lady claimed about Brian McGill, it happened in his office at his at the SKD, and the police went on the scene or was reported, and the police came there and met the young lady in a distress form, there is directly an evidence linking him because it's happened right within the same place that he were. But like the police director said, when they even went into the phone, they tried to check the cell tower or so. The time that this young lady showed that she was at this place, she was not actually at that place. And these things were not lie. All right. So they say, okay, we've looked at it. You said that this crime took place at this time. You reported it during this time, almost 3 or 4 hours after you say when this crime took place. We look at that. We lay aside. Can we do a DNA sample to know that whether this man tampered with you? And that is the last result.
So as a lawyer in training,
and I think the police did their best. Yes.
As a lawyer in training, you are saying that you differed.
I differ totally with the counselor. Okay. And the reason for this, I think, he's been more political than being legal in his analysis. irrespective of what we say here, I think the police has done an excellent job. Because, like we said, people are presumed innocent. Look, the issue of rape, Slobber, it is not something that people joke with. I have seen a young man lost his life. All right, he went behind bar. He came back as a student leader. He was depressed because of that stigma. He's lost his life. Today, he's gone. You know, when you put people in these situations, and we need to be very careful. We are in a country that is highly politicized. Today is Brian McGill. Tomorrow it could be somebody else. I could be walking from my door and somebody come and say, "Oh yeah, they man raped me." Should they come and grab me and just get me to the jail?
Gentlemen, gentlemen, we are, many of us we are putting our emphasis on the second case involving Bodo Jala, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure all of you might have seen the photograph. We're trying to upload it, but it's trying to. You saw the photograph of a man who was highly charged by the police of sodomy, of rape, of kidnapping, being forwarded to court. And you saw him not handcuffed, in fact, shaking the hand of his friend.
That's his lawyer. That's his
or his lawyer.
Yeah.
He's smiling. He doesn't look like he has any remorse for what had happened. Gentlemen, what's your reading, David? Let me ask you. This is a man who was charged by the police. The police said they got all material evidence to convict this guy or to parade him through the legal process. Now, but forwarded the guy to court, he left his hand open, and the guy in a smiling mood, and there's no any sign of remorse. We're trying to upload the photos so you can see. David, what's your reading?
I think I've seen something like that on the social media. Look, I think the police use it as a discretion whether to have cuffed him or not. And besides that, not cuffing him doesn't mean that
he didn't commit a crime.
So that was level of the discretion of the police about. And like the guy talk about Mr. Senator Chie, right? You know, Senator Chie, to me, you are playing the devil's advocate, as some judge was playing the devil's advocate when it came to Bridget. I was definitely the devil's advocate. Go ahead, he's only for Robert here. So I mean,
okay, fine. You see the we've uploaded now.
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it earlier before coming.
But these are different events. I'm coming. My point is, this is a guy that was heavily charged. That's not one charge and not two charges. We've seen in many instances where someone caught with drugs, just a drug, user. He's handcuffed and taken to the police. But this is a guy on charge of multiple crimes. The guy is walking, no handcuff. In fact, he's shaking the hands of his lawyer. He doesn't show any remorse. There's no remorse on his face.
I'm not being a policeman before or a law enforcement officer. But I think in most cases, that's my assumption.
Okay.
Wait, no, you can hold me there. Let me learn. Maybe that's an assumption that there are some suspects that look hostile or appear hostile, and they need to be handcuffed. There are other suspects who, I mean, they just leave raw.
So are you saying that?
So
they bro and others who are taking. When they're hostile at the time?
Well, that was the discretion of
that different instances.
Let me leave the lawyer.
That was the discretion of
Moses, let's hear from you. Moses, let's hear from you. Your reaction to this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
There you're going.
Let me say something.
let's get one or two things here clear first. Rape is synonymous to sodomy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when a man penetrates the anus of another man, that's sodomy.
Now, we all have a different punishment for it, though.
So yeah, so I just want to get it clear that when someone rapes a man, that's sodomy.
That's what
When a man rapes a female, when a man has sex with a female, penetrating without the will of the female, it's a rape. So the both words are synonymous. It's just that they apply to two different genders.
So hit the head, now.
Yeah. So what I want to say here is that
start using it.
Earlier I said in our country that we would do something sometimes with charity. No world where the rule of law is respected. Somebody accused of statutory rape, somebody accused of sodomy will be walking the streets in an upbeat mood. You see this guy smiling,
in the court premises,
unremorseful,
but don't even know what.
Smiling with a lawyer.
Speak back. We can be talking
where I live, and I'm not making a comparison between Liberia and the United States. Where I live, when such crime is committed, when you are being charged, you go into court, you are cuffed. You are cuffed. And they allow you to walk and smile with people are interested, nothing serious happened. But again, that's how we enforce the laws of our country. Political connections, friendship, interfere with law enforcement in our country. People may say, oh, well, I'm being too negative, but that's just the truth of the matter. I got you are being cuffed. And Mr. Tagbe, I disagree with you. I would drive if I'm pulled over by a police officer, if I'm under the influence of alcohol. The first thing they're going to tell me, Mr. Sandy, step out of your vehicle. I will step out, put your hands behind you.
And they'll cuff you.
They're not going to say, oh, well, he seems like a gentleman or he's being apologetic. No.
We are trying to
That's how law enforcement operates.
Moses, we're trying to upload a picture where you saw Bucket Rod. You call him Bucket Rod?
That was dropped.
We talking about but you want to compare it for them?
You talk about rape.
Let's talk about rape. Please, let's go to the
that's a wrong analogy.
No, that's
a wrong analogy.
That's wrong with that.
We need to analyze the event that happens. First of all, Mr. Jala's lawyer filed a writ of habeas corpus.
Okay.
The law says that when that writ is filed before any court to bring your living body, the state has to produce, or whoever have you in captivity have to bring to you. That was the process that you saw today, that man walking to go to the court. When he got to the court, after the writ of habeas corpus was read, his charge sheet was read for sodomy, he was arrested right there. So, sometimes when people see these things and it gets out there, people don't analyze it to know exactly what happened. All right? So that was the event that happened.
So because his lawyer filed a
writ of habeas corpus. Yes. Because he was in police detention.
Please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because the police filed a habeas corpus.
No, his lawyer.
His lawyer.
Yes.
So does it mean that he could not be handcuffed by the police while taking?
No. At that time, his crime has not been read to him, because he's been kept at the police station.
He was arrested as a suspect.
He was arrested.
Thank you.
Then his lawyer went to the court.
Come here. Normally, when you are arrested by the police as a suspect,
you are in the custody of the police. Yes.
So if your lawyer went to file a bond or whatever for you, does it prohibit the police from handcuffing you and taking you to court?
It is purely at the description of
that's what you should say.
But it is not a law.
It's not, no.
It's not a law.
Come here. Let me hear from you, George.
Don't do that to restrict.
Please.
So clearly the use of handcuff is intended to restrain.
So
A
discussion.
Can I put the picture on there?
A discussion about the police.
The picture.
The use of handcuff or any suspect.
Okay, we see Boko Raw there.
Yeah.
Yes, what is called is arrested.
Okay, so you should show also the violent behavior of Boko Raw
Why
in the house.
What did he do?
Yeah, let's show about
You are hostile. Boko Raw was hostile.
So Dave,
you're not speaking.
if you
were hostile.
I wrote something under the post
Well,
today
hostile.
when the man was arrested, when they took him out, I said, kill him. I mean, I was very wrong for me to have said that because he's still innocent. I was very angry. So this thing I'm saying here doesn't mean I support what he did.
Yeah, sure.
But what I would have been interested in more when the police went to arrest him, while there's evidence of him being cuffed. All right? When they took him to praise him, the police cell, all the time he'd been there. I thought that, when they say habeas corpus, before the law, I thought that they say, bring the man in his normal form, in court. I thought that the meaning that his living body, his normal form. So it means, technically, the police don't have to cuff him. If you carry him in our court, when his charges are read to him in our court, the photos from the court, somebody didn't show it.
Nobody show it.
I wanted to see that photo from the court because the police is not judge; they are investigators. The court decides the prisoner's fate, the individual's fate. As well, once they charge you, they say you are hereby arrested. And you will see the sheriff from the court will move straight. That cough. That now he can be president.
Okay, so Moses, we have to. Moses, what?
Yeah, look. So let me say something.
On the screen, Moses.
I am not a student of law, but my own understanding of law enforcement, which I assume you guys will agree with. When someone tells you, say, "Sir, you are under arrest," the next word that will come from the person's mouth is, "Put your hands behind your back." They ask you to surrender and they're going to cuff you. It means your liberty has been seized. Whether you were smiling, whether you were being violent, once they tell you, say, "Sir, you are under arrest," your hands gonna be what? Put behind your back, and you will be cuffed. In the case of this guy, for you to tell me that he was arrested, and because he was told that he needed to go to court to produce his living body, he should be allowed to walk, to smile, to come across as unremorseful.
It's discretionary.
I think it undermines the rule of law.
There was the police cherry picking, but not handcuffing.
So first of all,
course, the man should have been cuffed.
When he was arrested, taken to the Liberia National Police, he was.
The man should have been cuffed.
He went to the National Police headquarters. He was there.
Even the sheriff, right? When the sheriff is taking you to court, don't they cuff you?
The links are produced his living body as he went to the court.
Okay, all right, guys. The lawyer has spoken.
Went to the police station along with the police and
you see sheriff carrying a man
to the Monrovia Magisterial Court.
The lawyer has spoken. The lawyer in training has spoken.
As he was about to turn his back, his writ of arrest was read to him, the crime that he's violated, and the same sheriff that went for him handcuffed him.
We saw around here, my man. No, we're speaking from
experience,
from a devil advocate's background.
No. We saw it around here. We saw it around here when even the former Chief Justice was picked up. She was right away handcuffed. We saw it around here. So that is wrong.
So that's two different
things. Anyway, being picked up and a we just try
to bring your living body. There are two different things.
Living body has nothing to do with it.
Who told you that?
I can call it right now. Okay, we'll continue the
Who told you that?
Living body has nothing to do with it.
It's a constitutional issue when they say
is trying to hide all of this.
Bringing everybody doesn't insinuate that you should uncuff the person. No.
Yeah, don't mind.
Bringing everybody means that, hey, we want to see the person in court. We want to see this person. They can cuff you, they bring you to court, uncuff you, and surrender you to your lawyer. That's how it works. It doesn't mean that instead of bringing everybody, it means that you should uncuff the person. No. I'm not a student of law, but common sense will not hold when you make such argument.
Time has cut off us, gentlemen. We have to go. I'm sure we'll treat the other topic tomorrow that has to do with the former president. And besides,
on Wednesday.
Wednesday. And besides, I'm trying to make some contact to Richmond to host the head of the team. We understand that a team from the IMF is in country. We're still making the arrangement to see whether we can host the head of the delegation, so as to address a couple of things that been popping up in the media. So hoping that can work. If possible Wednesday, if possible Friday, we don't know. But the guy is still trying to make the arrangement with them. So let me thank all of you, gentlemen. David, thank you very much for your insightful comments, your contribution. The guy who had it on the law to misinform us here. Edwin Fambule. Josh Kennedy, thank you too for coming in. Moses and the rest of the team will meet again by God's grace.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
The time.
Oh, Moses. Tagwe, you took on the voice. Okay, until then, someone Josh is my name. Let's have a pleasant time.